This video will be a walkthrough of the 2024 AP English Language Mobile Food Service Synthesis Sample Essay that received a 6 from the College Board. I will go through the prompt and then I will go through the chief reader's comments. So I won't read every slide to you, but I will read the prompt slide to you. Mobile food service establishments such as food trucks and food carts have become increasingly trendy in recent years, offering customers appealing and often innovative dining options out of vehicles that can easily be located near workplaces and leisure activities. These businesses have sometimes been held back from expanding because of local regulations that restrict their activities and require operators to obtain licenses and certifications. Proponents of these regulations say that laws are needed to ensure that the meals offered by mobile food services are safe and that these businesses do not have an unfair advantage over traditional restaurants. Carefully read the following 6 sources, including the introductory information for each source. Write an essay that synthesizes material from at least 3 of the sources and develops your position on what are the most important factors for cities to consider when regulating mobile food service establishments. So 2 things about this prompt. Number 1, as with any synthesis prompt, just about everything you need to write the introduction is found here. You do not necessarily need the sources to construct your position. You can construct it without the sources and then use the sources later. And so the prompt gives you everything you need for the introduction. But also, very, very important to pay attention to the word factor here. This is not asking you if you are for or against mobile food services. The mobile food services in a community is a given in this prompt. It's similar to the wind energy prompt of a few years ago that we saw with the picture, the photograph of the windmills as source A. This is similar to that. They're not looking for you to agree or disagree. You must agree. Now it's what factors are important. Now you have these mobile food services in your community. What factors are important when you're regulating those mobile food service establishments? So we come to the introduction of this sample essay, and right away we can see that the essay focuses on 2 factors. All of this information is taken from the prompt. The factors include proximity to other restaurants and then feature manipulation on a standard truck. And this essay, obviously, it gets the 6, so it gets the sophistication point. And we can see right from the beginning that the essay is setting the argument up into a broader argument of mobile restaurants versus traditional family-owned restaurants, and that nuance there, that nuanced argument, the broader argument that the essay is bringing up is going to end up helping the essay get the sophistication point. This is an argument, this broader argument is something that's going to come up in the body and then be repeated in the conclusion as well. So we get our first body paragraph, and you can see that very important here. I think it's key that the body paragraph begins with the factor first and then brings source D in second. It doesn't start with the source, it starts with the factor. It starts with the student's idea and then the source comes in later. We do have some quoting, but they are short and they are embedded in the sentences. They're 365 days a year, paying taxes, utilities, etc. And then later with source B, no proximity restriction from restaurants for food trucks. I also think it's important that the single paragraph uses 2 sources instead of just 1. You've got D and you've got B. And again, it's picking up on this idea of traditional food restaurants versus mobile food services as well. So you've got that nuanced argument, that broader argument brought in to the first body paragraph as it was in the introduction. The second body paragraph begins with, in addition to parking on or near restaurant property. And so it's connecting the second body paragraph to the first body paragraph. It's creating that line of reasoning with the phrase. And again, it's very, very simple, but in addition to parking on or near restaurant property. So paragraph 2 could not be placed as paragraph 1, at least not as written as, right? Because in addition to parking on or near restaurant property means that this paragraph must come second in the essay. So that's important to create that line of reasoning. Food trucks can't evolve outside their traditional structure. And again, it starts with the idea and then brings in source E after the idea and then source A later. And when they talk about source A, they use the word emphasize. This issue is emphasized in a New York Times magazine. And so that emphasis from source E to source A is creating that conversation that we want to have between sources. There's a comparison contrast going on when you use the word emphasize in the commentary of this essay, in this paragraph. You can see that there's almost all paraphrase here. There's very little quoting, building mini empires, and that's something that the College Board prefers. They would like to see the analysis and the textual evidence given in your words, not the prompt's words or the source's words, the passage's words. So the fact that there's only 3 words that are actually quoted here and the rest is paraphrased, I think is a strength to this essay. Then we get to the conclusion. It is a traditional conclusion, so it's not really adding all of that much, but that nuanced argument, that regular traditional food services versus mobile food services argument is repeated here in the conclusion, and so I think that helps gain that sophistication point. Don't want to spend a lot of time in the conclusion. Conclusions in a timed writing are just not that important. It's the body where you are going to score. In a regular essay in college, conclusions become very important, but this is not a regular essay. This is a timed writing. That's a specific kind of essay, and the conclusion just drops in importance. Then we come to the chief reader's comments. And we can see that the chief reader in the introduction gave them the point for the thesis statement because there is specific evidence from the position. The position is established because 2 factors are given, and we went over those factors on the introduction. So because the factors are given and there's a position, you get the thesis statement. Then we get the chief reader's comments on evidence and commentary, and we see that they're very concerned, obviously, about the 3 sources being used, but there were 3 sources, so everything is good there. There's more paraphrase than quote. All claims are supported by evidence. So that's important to get the 4. If you support all of your claims by the evidence, if all of the claims chart back to the introduction's position, then you can get the 4. If only some of them do, then you can only receive a 3 for evidence and commentary, which still will get you college credit, but you have to have all claims supported by evidence and charting back to the introduction's position in order to get the 4. There's way more commentary than evidence, and then also the grammar and mechanics are pointed out in the last sentence of this commentary because they aren't perfect, but the nuanced argument is so sophisticated that the grammar and mechanics do not detract from that, and therefore it can still receive a 4. And then finally, there's an discussion of this sophisticated, nuanced argument on the final paragraph of the chief reader's comments. So this is an excellent essay. It's 4 paragraphs long, and it is not that long, and it does not use very advanced vocabulary. I think this is an essay that most students can write, and so you can see that most students could score a 6 if they follow the prompt and they link everything back. If you treat the prompt formulaically and you write the essay not formulaically, because obviously with a nuanced argument, it's not formulaic here. But if you treat the prompt formulaic and you go through and you check off each thing that the rubric is looking for, almost any student could get a 6 on an AP essay. This is a great, simple, but yet sophisticated essay sample.